Transition. Here we are, right here on Greyhawk channel, getting ready for another episode of the Birthright of the Pomarj. That is the cute. Is that a spider?
Face hugger.
Oh, it's a face. That's the cutest face hugger I've ever seen. Could you imagine? She's like, hi. Hi. Welcome. We are back for another, what I hope to be very interesting episode of The Birthright. We're on episode 5, I believe. Please let me know if we're on episode 6 and I got that count wrong. But I'm pretty sure we're on 5 because we missed a week. And last week there were some interesting things. But before I get there, let's go around to cast and crew and meet these lovely people and see what they're up to and who they are playing. First up is Chris. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. Pleasure to be here. My favourite show of the week. I love this.
Hey.
I am going to be playing Dren, the Placeless, the Orc Bard, who has been chronicling the rise and now apparent fall of Tiroshmok.
That's true. And after last week's happenings, which I will also recap, but I want to hear from you. What has impacted Dren the most after last week's episode?
So, two main things. Aside from the fact that Greyhawk is clearly a cult and there's clearly some child sacrifice going on here.
Something we all agree
on. Two things that Dren is keenly aware of. One is that he is on a mountainside after all hell broke loose, and he dimension doored away with the chick we were meant to be, the girl we were meant to be protecting.
Yep.
The other thing is that he's just heard the war horn of Tiroshmok's armies, and he doesn't know what the hell is going on, but he knows that there are orcs at the gates.
This is true. They have marched in from the north. Well, I say that like the northeast, really. Yeah. All right. Both very important things that happened to Dren, and hopefully. Yeah, I don't know how you're coming down off that mountain. I guess we'll figure that out. And next up is Scott. Scott, how are you?
Good. Happy to be here. My favorite game of the week, my only game of the week. That I stream, anyways.
Yeah, right.
Super tired. I was up really late podcasting. But we're here. We're having fun. I am back as Dristan Traherne, the party dad.
Yeah! I was hoping you were gonna say that.
I appreciate that you changed your Twitter name.
Yeah,
my Twitter name is it still D&D dad?
It's still D&D dad. Yeah, you've solidly been D&D dad for a week.
Yeah,
I love it.
Now I'm regular Craig of the Apocalypse. That's a joke between me and Casey from the Lucky Die. So yes, hi, I'm back as your D&D dad. Last time we left Dristan, he was finally like approving of Ricky killing something because this was pretty much a kill or be killed situation. Threw off a couple spells to give Ricky some aid, and then went to go help his good buddy at the gates because there was an orc army. And he was also really fed up with this town's like security. I remember yelling at the head of security. It turned out to just be like a patsy who was there for the money or something.
Yeah,
he was awful, and I hate him.
Well, and now you know why the governor needed extra security for his daughter. Could you imagine if you guys hadn't showed? Gasp.
It's awful. So I'm off to go help Ural at the gate with all the horrible stuff that's beyond it, aka a horde of orcs.
This is true. An army of a few hundred, if I remember. And speaking of the man running into combat, Ural.
Hello. My name is Paul. I am playing Ural. He is the easily triggered orc paladin who heard the horns of his beloved leader and ran towards it in complete and utter confusion because he's just like, wait a second, something's not right here. So, he's running over there to see what's happening. He's really just confused at the whole situation and kind of left Ricky to handle herself because at this point I think everyone can agree that Ricky doesn't really need any of our helps to kill one person. So Ural kind of accepts that and just kind of moves on. So yeah, that's where he is. He's just up, and I think what happened where he was left was he met up with a captain or someone up by the gates,
Mm-hmm.
and they were explaining to him, and he looked out and he couldn't really see who's leading the army, but he knew that there was the Tarashmak like horn battle cry kind of thing. He's very concerned it might be one of the renegade brigades who might have broken off to kind of do their own thing just because they got bored. So he's kind of concerned about that. Clearly, he's not going to go in and try to kill him because there's one dude versus 100. He's stupid, but he's not dumb. That's where he's left off.
This is true. All right. Yep. And last but certainly not least, what seems to be the party's unanimous fierce fighter.
Ironically.
Yeah, Lauren, how are you?
I'm great.
Yeah.
Super great. I just came off 6 hours over on Unmade Gaming.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm super excited to be here and deal with the consequences of my actions for once. For once.
And would you remind us of what those actions were?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, please remind us.
I'm playing a halfling monk, if that's it. Am I a halfling? Yes, I'm a fucking halfling.
You're a halfling.
Yeah, I'm a ghostwise halfling.
That's right.
And someone was trying to kidnap my poor sweet Bab Carl. So I killed them, and I don't feel bad about it. And it was maybe one of Tarash Mock's kids, but he didn't have a name tag, so that's on him.
How do you plan for these things? Well, in fact, you don't, as most of last week's episode went. So they did, in fact, make it to finally their destination, to find a city guard who was expecting them. He led them to a warehouse in which they were very hesitant to enter, where he filled them in and reassured them on a few very specific things, including... That's right, including the fact that a raven was following them, which they were unsure how long, and this city captain assured them that that was definitely a messenger for the Dark Brotherhood that had trailed them potentially all the way from their original starting point at Selene Pass. He said that they should spend the night, and that the governor had interest in speaking with them. Upon arrival to the governor's house, things were hustling and bustling, and it looks like his daughter was turning 16. He needed extra security as there had been a threat on her. Oh, internet's being a little funky. Sorry there, gang. There had been a threat on her life, or at least a kidnapping via letter. So the party went off with no problem until she walked out of the house and things went astray as 2 bombs went off in the city. Well, if 1 bomb went off, chaos began to ensue. That seemed to be on the south side, and then a second bomb went off. At this point, Dren saves the daughter by dimension dooring her 500 feet up a mountain where nobody could reach her, and everybody else fought pretty deftly as Ural raced towards the gates, because it did seem like Tarash's army is making an attack of some kind. Ricky got into a little hand-to-hand smacky-smack with an orc that had, in fact, not kidnapped the daughter, but had kidnapped Carl. Poor Carl had been kidnapped. Though we do not know why yet, Ricky did, in fact, kill the creepy orc in the cloak, and upon his death, the governor of the house cries out, "Oh my god, you killed one of Tarash's children," and points. He is in the balcony looking down. And we're going to pick up literally in that moment as he stares down at you, and he mouth covered.
You sure?
You hear him bolt into the house, the pitter patter of his chunky little feet come down and through the foyer and out into the garden where you're at. And he looks down, he says, "I swear, that looks just like Tarash Mok. Don't you know what he looks like?" And he pulls the hood off of his face.
He's a half orc. So no, they look different.
He says, "I'm telling you, this this looks like Tarashmak, and he runs back in the house. And as the camera cuts to follow him, it does a hard cut again over to the battlefield as Ural, the captain, begin rushing the gates, out of the gates. They crack open enough to let about 3 men through at a time as you begin pouring out. The army is, I'd say, 300 feet off, and they are running at full steam.
Oh crap. Looking out, would I see maybe one specific person in the front leading the charge? Anyone standing out?
Roll a perception.
Okie dokie. Does that work? Okay, cool.
A 10. Out of 10, they are still way too far off for you to be able to note their faces. You might be able to when they get closer, but at this point, your eyes are just, there's no way.
But I know for a fact this is Tarashmak's army, right?
They are adorning his flags and his banners, and the horn that they gave for attack is, without a shadow of a doubt, Tarash's horn.
All right. And looking back, do I see any of my comrades? Or
yeah, there are quite a few men behind you. You guys have kind of like poured out of the gate here, which almost creates a funnel shape, so it expands outwards, and you guys have kind of blockaded. People are, the armies here are beginning to kind of create lines and make their own barricade to try to stop the army as they attempt to push through this door. The captain stands next to you, and he says, you can see him like grip a little tighter as he looks over the armies, and he says, this could be bad.
All right. Ural at this point is kind of like, oh, crap. All right. And he's going to kind of look around for any kind of white cloth or any kind of cloth that you can use.
Oh, yeah. You find one easy, whether it's hanging on somebody else's back
All
or
right. So he just grabs it and rips it off, mounts back onto the horse, unless he never got off. And then he's going to be like, all right, listen, don't do anything just yet. Don't shoot anything. Don't fire anything. Don't even show any sign of aggression. Just wait here. And then he's going to start heading the direction that they're charging towards, but not at like a full speed, I'm about to attack. More of like just trying to get closer to see and analyze the situation better.
So you're going to take the white flag and basically part from the group of them and go farther in?
Yeah.
Okay, you rear the horse back, and everybody, you can see the soldiers kind of, as they part and let you through. You ride down the path, which is still relatively rocky, so you're looking at an embankment off either side of about 25 feet. But the road is nice and wide, and as you run towards them, donning the flag, flapping in the wind, somebody off in the distance in his horns, or in his, grouping once again sounds the horn of Tarashmak, and upon it, it echoes throughout the valley, and the camera almost follows the sound as it pans outwards up the mountain, where we see Dren and a 16-year-old girl who is terrified, playing cards. And you hear it, without a shadow of a doubt, the second time now, Dren, the sound of the battle horn.
Cool. At that point, Dren will lean down to the girl and just say, stay quiet, stay calm.
Okay.
And then I'm going to stand up and give a glance around to make sure no one's around, even though we're halfway up a mountain and no one's near. And then I'm going to pull out my own horn, and I want to sound Torosh's signal for retreat.
Oh, interesting.
And that reaches the army.
Okay. I'm gonna let you make a performance check here, because you're gonna have to have lungs of steel.
Oh god.
to get the sound out that far. You are quite a ways out, especially being up the mountain too, but we'll see. The mountain may give you a little bit of advantage.
Performance was performance, there it is.
Hey.
Oh! You stand up and take in the cool, crisp air of altitude, high altitude, and sound it through this horn as it rings out over the entirety of the city. And it pings the ears of you, Ural, the sound of retreat as you ride with the white flag behind, kind of reinforcing the concept, I guess. You all hear it without a shadow of a doubt. Now, Dristan. This it rings out up the mountain, because you stayed at you were riding through the city streets, weren't you?
Yes, I was on my way to Ural.
You were on horseback too.
I believe I could have nabbed a horse.
Yeah, I think you said you left, but it makes sense. There were horses there, so as you ride through the streets at a pretty quickened pace, you can see the devastation of the bombs that went off, the 2 explosions, we'll call them. Particularly as you ride northeast, one of the larger ones, it has taken out city blocks. People lay devastated all throughout the streets, people panicking. The only reason you're probably even making it through is because you're on horseback. And as you ride and come up to the gates, you can see them beginning to, like, close as the sound of the retreat horn sounds, and you can see just off in the distance as your rides lonesome towards battle.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Alright, if those gates are closing and Ural's riding off alone and there's, like, people dying everywhere... I may have to just turn around and start dropping some... What spell is it I'm looking at?
What would Dad do?
What would Dad do?
There goes my son, off to fight a war. I may go drop some prayers of healing because that's like a pretty big AOE.
Yeah,
it's low, but it's pretty big, and I can get a couple people back up. I've heard the retreat sound because they retreated from the walls before.
Yeah, you would recognize it, at least if nothing else, as Dren's horn.
Okay.
Bare minimum.
So, I think then, like, he pulls to a hard stop on the reins as the front gates are closing. And then, like, the camera from the other side, we see him turn and ride back into the city as the gates shut. And I'm going to go start finding concentrations of people and start helping out and casting Prayer of Healing, which will probably work through all my 2nd level spells for the day.
Okay. We'll say for now, you begin going around just like person to person. You can see some of the more heavily wounded ones, at least trying to get them in a stable condition. A few representatives of the temple that was part of this explosion that have survived have come out. Nuns, if you would, or the such servants of the church, and they are patting people down, washing them of blood, and trying to pull things out of weapons out of wounds. And you do manage to heal quite a few people. They seem very grateful, especially thank you for those bits. Ural, you ride at full speed as the horn of retreat sounds down the valley.
How far am I from the army?
At the pace that you're riding on horseback, you'll be to them very soon. Okay. You've closed at least half the gap by now.
Would they, if I shouted, would they be able to hear it?
How about this?
I want to, it's not any like words, it's just a very like barbaric, savage, aggressive roar towards the army.
With a nat 20, I would say Dren, what was it, actually a 27, Dren's horn drowns out that sound of attack. And it's strange because you can see the usual formation of Turash's army. The front line men are, of course, his captains who ride on horseback. And they gallop at full speed, and when they hear the sound of the retreat, they come to a full stop. The army on foot behind them also kind of clumsily stop, and they're beginning to kind of come to a close, but they are still pretty far from you. But they have noticed you.
Okay. So within, like, I guess the adrenaline and the momentum of the horse, Ural is going to kind of yell a very aggressive like stop and kind of like pull up as close as he can, within keeping a safe distance, of course.
Yeah, we'll say you pull up about 50 feet without you're not too close, but enough. There's a very, very gruff looking, scarred in one eye orc. He is pure blood as the day is. You can see it written all over him. His two huge tusks wrap up around. And he holds his battle axe high in the air, and he says, "What is this trickery?"
Who is leading this army?
I lead this army, behind that of Torash.
Who gave the command to move forward on this?
He says, I don't answer to you, but
You will answer to me. At this point, I want to start. Ural starts getting more. I want to say more orcish, more kind of losing control, more barbaric.
Yeah.
And starts moving his horse closer and closer, and I want to try to like intimidate and kind of show, like puff off my chest, kind of.
All right, I'm gonna let
shouting,
you.
like,
okay, I'm gonna let you make an intimidation roll.
Okay.
But as soon as you step up, regardless of what you do, the armies turn their crossbows. Those in the front lines, all at once, you hear them click into place. The large one laughs. So let's see how well you intimidate him.
Don't fuck this roll up.
Come on.
Okay, out of 15. I would say out of 15, you kind of, rear aggression at him. He pulls his horse in response to it and turns around sideways as if he's not interested in attacking you anymore. And he says, should I know you? What is it you are doing in this place, orc?
I want to. Ural continues to kind of move forward, noticing the crossbows, but I mean he's scared shitless, but he's gonna try to hide it, and he's gonna try to like ignore it and move forward. He's like, "Do you understand what the city means to Tarash Mach?"
This city, he gave us the order not 10 minutes ago to march on it and burn it to the ground.
And at this point, I'm continuing to move forward. Am I close enough to grab him?
Not without the other captains lined up beside him potentially slaughtering you.
Okay, and I'm not. I'm gonna stop my horse within like a fair distance and just say, "I am Ural, the second shield of Tarash Mach. I was next to him in his front line, and I know for a fact that he gave no orders. So I will ask once more, who gave you the orders to move forward?"
I told you, upon my own mother's grave. It was Tarash Mach who gave us the order. He came from Selene Pass, met us just 20 miles here. And he kind of points north, like east, which would connect to the bottom half of where this whole adventure started and moved up, where Ricky like came around through Selene Pass. And he says he said that the battle was won.
Am I able to tell if he's lying?
You can totally roll an insight, absolutely.
All right.
He's not trying to deceive you, so let's just see if you pick up on his honesty. Yeah, but roll it anyways.
Fuck.
At a 7, it's hard to tell. I would say, regardless, he seems to be pouring information readily. How about that?
Okay.
And he says, Tarash, he was on a secret mission inside. He didn't tell you. As one of his officers, I thought you would know.
I know very much of his secret mission. It just seems to conflict with he has previously told, and I'm not convinced that those orders were genuine. Where did you say he gave these orders? Bring me to him now.
I can't. He went inside to get the girl.
I'm sorry. The wind is very hard. It can't really hear.
So much sass.
No, literally.
Yeah, no, like I literally can't hear what you said.
Oh, you like genuinely can't hear. I'm sorry. Yeah, he said he went inside to get the girl.
Tarash, at this point, I'm kind of like trying to figure out the girl. It's like light bulbs are kind of flashing. He's like, the girl inside. The hooded figure.
The governor's daughter. He didn't tell us why, just that we needed to leave no trace. And she, well, the virgin girl must come with us.
Am I a higher rank than this guy?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Well, listen here. As the highest ranking officer, you will hold position until further orders, and you will wait here under my command. And if for any reasons, I will deal with Tarash Mach. Understood?
He like snorts a little, almost steam out of his nose. Fine. We shall hold until morning. If we do not hear, we will go with our initial plan. Greyhawk will burn to the ground.
At this point, Ural's gonna just completely kind of like, whatever, and kind of like turn the horse and start riding back. trying to keep an eye as he's riding back, just in case you're gonna try to shoot him or something.
Yeah, as you turn to go, they don't seem to. He turns and says something to his captains, and one of them yells out, "Ha!" And the entire army, like, "Ah!" And they pop into, like, hold position, and it looks like they're gonna hold for the night.
And as Ural is riding back, he's just gonna be like, fuck.
Yeah, you ride, and it only takes you, 30 seconds or so, just kind of cross at full speed. The Greyhawk's army parts for you once again, the small number that's there, and it makes your gut almost drop looking at their numbers in comparison to that of what Pomarj was about to march with. Maybe a quarter of their size in terms of numbers. And the captain of Greyhawk stands there in front waiting on you. He says, "What did you do that for? What, are they going to attack us?"
I was able to buy us some time. However, it's imperative that I go back to Ricky. It's very important. What you need to do is just hold the defense here. Keep an eye out there. They said they won't do anything until the morning. This should buy us some time, and I'm gonna go try to figure out what's going on. That it's not right. He says he got the orders from. Just hold your position here.
He looks so flustered, and as your kind of orc rage, you almost like spittle a little in his face, probably. And he says, "Yes, of course, we will hold inside the fort till morning."
He's not used to having to explain stuff.
Yeah, he was like, "Okay," and he gives a signal, and the armies march back in. He says, "We will hold, but inside for safety." And he takes his armies inside, and you follow. And as you cross the threshold, Ural, it's very plain to see that Dristan is not far. He made it here. You see him, and he is almost at the cusp of an alleyway where it meets a road between some buildings that are still embering and burning. And there are a few bodies, and he seems to be healing people, irradiating light embers from him and the people that he heals.
Tristan! I start shouting, trying to get his attention.
Finish sort of patching this person up. It's like I'm a forge cleric, so I imagine like when I'm doing these healing spells, there's like a warm glow that emanates from my hands, and that sort of dies. I stand and grab the horse and walk back over towards Ural. Yes?
The situation is dire. We must return quickly to Ricky. We have only till sunrise.
Look around. I should say so many dead.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a lot worse.
I hop onto the horse. Tell me as we go.
All right. And then I guess we'll start riding. And I'm just going to... do I need to roleplay this, or can I just explain, like, what happened
I'll leave
outside?
that up to you. If you just want to kind of give him a... we can fast forward if we want. Just say, hey, you explain basically what just happened to him, so both of you are in the know and all of that information. Unless there's something very special you'd like to share with him, we can roleplay it.
Oh, actually, I'm going to... I can't remember what happened exactly last week, so I'm not going to do that. I'll just summarize what happened outside and kind of tell Tristan, like, the army outside seems to have gotten their orders from Tarash Mach, and they seem genuine, or rather just confused. The hooded figure, I don't remember exactly, but were you able to get a look at it?
No, I gave Ricky some aid and ran off to follow you.
All right. Well, it might be just a long shot, but I need to know. We got to get to Ricky and figure out if she was able to perhaps get a look at that hooded figure. Hopefully, the boy is all right as well, of course.
Yes. Hopefully Carl is fine.
We only have until... Sorry. We only
Almost sounded like you meant
sunrise before the army marches again. I was able to, I guess, talk them down into just giving us a little bit more time to figure this out.
All right. Then we ride. And...
We ride!
We ride!
Yes, and the two of you on horse make it pretty quickly. The devastation, again, is vast. As you ride deeper kind of into where it was, or where the governor's mansion is, it is on the most western side of the city, kind of embedded in a almost kind of stronghold area between some rock face cliffings and mountains. Dren, you see the two horses ride up. And everything seems to have gone quiet in the house. It's very hard to see. You're very, very far off, but it does seem like combat has stopped. At least there's no like magic fireballs or anything being thrown. And there are some people in the garden as the two horses ride up to the front of the house.
I mean, that army is still outside town.
They are, but they seem to have stopped. You kind of witnessed everything that he did from afar. The tiny white flag, the stopping, there was that hesitation from everybody, and then you watched as Turash's armies hit a position of hold, which you know they will hold until they are told
I guess I'll start trying to slowly make my way back down the mountainside with the girl without dropping her.
Yeah.
Down the side of a mountain.
Yeah, so you guys will have to climb the mountain. So I'm just going to let you, for the sake of this, roll roll an athletics because you're helping her get down the mountain.
Oh, God.
Let's see how this goes.
Not my strong suit.
At a 16, it is not easy, and you struggle the whole way. She complains the whole way. And it takes you quite a while. So as you guys come down the mountain, we're going to play out here Ural and Dristan's entrance into the home. When you guys get there, it is empty. The guests are gone. The house lay in ruin. Everything is shattered and broken. And all of the doors stand open from the entryway to the four-way through the main area and out the back to the garden.
Okay.
All right. So I guess walking in, Ural's he's still kind of in panic, frantic mode, kind of just shouting like, Ricky, where are you?
You can hear him very clearly, Ricky, out the front.
I don't say anything. I'm considering obscuring this half-orc's face.
You consider away.
By obscuring, do you mean like putting a cloak over it, or
No.
violent the rock?
You're gonna
Yep.
defeat that shit. No!
Yep. Yeah, if she starts to hear Ural's voice, yep, she's gonna,
Ural is just constantly like frantic, like looking around, just like constantly yelling. Did you say I do see her, or?
Yeah, you guys can see basically straight through the house. The house has like a big open room and it goes straight out the back to the garden. You can see them like futtering over a body, and the kind of hefty governor sits there as well.
All right, I'm gonna yell Ricky and start making a straight beeline towards her.
oh no, too late.
I was about to say, and you hear the governor go, "Oh, we're back here!" as he yells for them. What are you gonna do here, Ricky?
Ricky's going to, since Carl's still like on the ground, she's kind of propped him up as best she can, but she's gonna stand in front of the body with her sickle out.
Okay.
And face back toward the entrance where Ural and Dristan are coming from.
Like the icon of death, you stand there with your sickle, just like perfectly posed next to this dead body. The governor goes, he runs up and goes, "We're so glad you're here. Where's my daughter?"
I'm just gonna shove him away, be like, she's fine, move. And I'm gonna start walking closer to Ricky and just be like,
Ural, can you just stop walking?
What?
Stop.
What are you doing?
Just stand there, please.
What?
Just don't come any closer.
Is this some sort of halfling culture I don't understand? What are you doing?
I want to make sure you're calm.
There's an entire orc army outside, and I need your cooperation in this situation. So if you mind putting down the sickle.
No, I don't think I'm going to do that. I feel more comfortable with it out.
What? When have you ever felt comfortable with a pointed object towards me?
Just right now.
At this point, he kind of like leans back. What did you do?
I saved Carl.
And somewhere off in the distance, you hear, "Oh."
Well, that's good. The hooded figure. Were you able to catch him? I'm assuming I don't really.
It's right behind her. She's not terribly large.
I'm trying to.
It's an orc-sized object that she's attempting to hide with her body.
Yep.
You can rightfully see it.
I'm assuming with like her shifting around all awkwardly, I'm just gonna look over. Is that it?
Yes, it is. He was taking Carl, and I stopped him.
Is he dead?
I don't know. That's a great question. You should check. And I'm gonna like back away, keeping Ural in my eyesight.
I'm like, your Ural kind of like walks up, like looking at Ricky like, what is wrong with you?
It doesn't take. Yeah, you like push her to the side, and when his face is finally visible, there's not even a cloak on. It looks like Turashmok.
This is what Ural's just gonna do. Ricky?
Yeah, Ural.
Oh,
I'm in the
Ricky.
back trying to calm down the governor.
You see
Hey,
Ural kind of like getting
daughter's
super
fine.
antsy.
Uh-huh.
He's getting super antsy, kind of like jittering up and down. Oh, Ricky.
All right, you're all rolling insight while Dristan, you guys hear, like, you kind of have gone back to where the main door is, back into the house.
Fuck.
This looks like Turashmok. She's definitely killed Turashmok. Without a shadow of a doubt, that is Turashmok, and she has slain him. And after what you heard on the battlefield, there's a high probability of it. He came in to steal the girl.
At this point, Ural is pulling out his mace and gripping his shield.
Oh, God. The governor goes, wait a second, you can't... No, please, no more fighting. I just want my daughter. Where is she?
Dren has her. She's fine.
Well, you gonna return her?
We're not kidnapping your daughter.
Sure
No.
feels like it. And he says, you guys did a wonderful thing here carrying Turashmok. You're heroes.
Okay.
Aw. Oh.
First off,
Oh.
there's still orcs outside, and we got to deal with that. So
Dad?
quit calling us kidnappers and then heroes back to back.
He goes, I'm sorry. It's been an emotional day.
No kidding. What's up, Ricky?
It's a hard life being a racist.
Kristen?
Yeah.
I don't think it was Turashmok. Can you tell Ural that? Because I don't know if he can hear me.
Ural's
go
like
take-
kind of kneeling down, looking at the body. Sorry.
No, yeah, I join your all. I'm gonna go in next to him. I don't actually know what Turashmuk. I've never seen him up close.
It really looks like him, and if so, he's really wimpy. Sorry.
Well, perhaps it's a disguise. Maybe one of a magical nature. I'm gonna cast Detect Magic.
Nope, nothing magical on him.
Okay.
Ural's now slowly getting up.
But all three of you roll an investigation as you look his body over.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea,
Wow,
right?
no, it doesn't.
No, I shouldn't have advantage on that. So it's a 4. It sucks.
Son of a. Oh yes.
All right, okay. So, Dristan is like looking it over and he's like, okay, nothing magical. What is happening here? And you're like looking. And you start to notice something as you get close to the face of this Taraj. There are the slightest scars. And these are not battle scars, not something that has ripped through and left a gash. These are faint, very well tailored scars along the jawline, under the eyes, as if he has had surgery. Well done surgery on his
Greyhawk
face.
plastic surgeons.
Oh shit. This is some nip tuck shit right now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna point those out.
Yep. Now that you guys see them, you're welcome to roll a medicine if you'd like as well on them. If
So wait,
anybody has
does
that.
Ural? I feel like Ural would be in a very state of kind of rage to kind of null all of this out.
Yeah, I'm just keeping my eyes on Ural. I'm not looking at the body anymore.
Yeah. You can't make anything else out other than it is well done surgery. Medicine's probably not your stick. You would have to have a professional tell you any more other than he has definitely had surgery on his face.
That's something good, right? That means this isn't Turash.
You're at this point, Ural is starting to stand up straight, and he is starting to bleed from his palm because of how tightly he's gripping his mace. And he slowly is turning towards Ricky. And his eyes kind of look empty, like they look hollowed out, kind of. And the direction is just straight at Ricky, and he's starting to mutter some sort of some stuff in Orcish, as if it's like a prayer or some sort of ritual kind of family chant.
I don't want to hurt you, Ural.
Will you both calm the hells down?
And it is about this time, as the two of you face off to one another, that you hear the faint, like, ugh, as a girl has come over the fence from where, like, their garden fence is off towards the upward angle of the mountain. And she seems to be being placed by two large hands, like, helping her get over. Followed, I would hope, quickly by, yeah.
Yep.
Do I see Dren?
Yeah, well, I would say you're pretty fixed on Ricky. It is actually Dren. You see the both of them begin to kind of face off. You know the intent in this moment as a dead body lies on the ground. The governor runs over to meet his daughter.
Cool. In a quite a soft voice, but loud enough to carry to Ural, I just want to say, Ural, stand down.
So Ural at this point is kind of like, he's kind of slowly coming back, but he's not there just yet, and he's kind of slowly stepping forwards towards Ricky.
Stand down!
He kind of like is awakened, and he looks over to Dren, and he points his mace, and he goes, "You have 5 seconds."
For what?
No, he's pointing to Dren. Just anything. Just you have 5 seconds before this mace swings.
What about 6 seconds? Like a full round.
It's like a full, yeah, like a full, yeah, one full round. Tell me what you do. What do you say, Dren, as he turns to you?
Oh God.
At this point, he's full on Orcish. He's speaking in Orcish,
Cool.
a very ancient.
I just say, tell me why.
And then I point to the body.
Can I go look at the body?
Yeah, you can walk right up to it. What's your passive perception, Dren?
Passive is 14.
I would say from where you are, the body begins, it is a cloaked figure, the body begins to come into view as you walk closer, and that is the face of Tarashmak at quick glance. Looks like she killed him. Dristan is also standing there in this moment.
Ricky doesn't look like she usually looks after killing someone.
Not post-orgasmic.
Exactly. Exactly. She looks like a scared little girl.
I just say to you all, tell me, don't point.
He's just gonna grunt and point even more aggressively towards them.
You're all, if you need to kill her, you can kill her. It doesn't need to be now. Tell me why.
The orc. He looks as Tarashmak. I need confirmation before the next action. He's speaking very like soldier structure.
Scott is muted.
It's not Turash.
Oh.
Haha!
He looks at Dristan. Are you sure?
Positive. I mean, I've never seen the man, but this person's clearly had something done to their face.
I'll look. Euro will look over at the body.
Yeah, I can point those scars out to you.
Yeah, you can like see them. It does the same thing, Dren. You get close and you see. I'm gonna actually because Ural and Dren, you have spent a lot of time with Turash, and in the wake of Turash, that after quick extreme investigation, along with Dristan pointing out these scars, there is not a doubt in your mind that this can't be Turash. Like, it's super close, and to the naked eye, anybody would believe it, and even somebody in a rage would believe it. But the more you begin to look at it, you're like, this isn't his body. He's way too thin. How did Ricky take down the warrior?
Easily.
At this point, I think Ural would be kind of like, he's still in a fit of like, just attention, like ready to attack something. But, you know, we've traveled together. He's giving the group the benefit of the doubt. They're trying to, and he's kind of slowly letting go of the shield and taking he dropped the mace, loosening his shield, kneels down and takes a look at the orc's face, and he's gonna pull out a sharp object and start picking at the scabs.
Yeah, you kind of start digging away, and they open up pretty easily. They are healed scars, but the tissue is weak. And as they go away, you begin noticing where as you kind of peel back the skin, I guess. And actually, I'm going to let you make a medicine on this to see how well you actually do, because if you nick it or something, it could be bad. Okay. At a 19, you flay the skin back like you've scalped a ton of people, pulling back his skin and these kind of things, and beginning to look. And as you begin to notice the bone structure, pieces of it have been chipped away. Looks like, the way you chip away marble, as if somebody has sculpted the pieces that they needed and then sewn the skin back together. This would be a very delicate process and not something that anybody could do. This is a specialist. But he was made to look like Tarashmak.
I look over at Ricky. Sorry. And then look over back at the body. Still kind of like really tensed up, but just trying.
She's shaking.
You're all looking back at the body. He's going to just start kind of piecing it together with what the orcs outside have told him. It seems like this orc, like you poking at the little scabs, was to look like Tarashmak to give a false order.
He tried to take Carl.
Oh, and he goes, "Oh, I missed you!" As Carl
Shut
runs
up.
over to the governor's daughter, and they begin a cute little 16-year-old embrace.
Dren immediately feels regret that he brought her back to him.
Yeah.
And
You're all just
she
fixated
says,
on the
yeah,
body.
she says, "Oh, you were so brave." And he's like, "Oh, I almost got kidnapped." And when he hears his name from the lot of you, he turns around and he says, "There were lots of them. But the one that grabbed me said, 'Get the virgin.'"
Why would they grab you, Carl?
Well, because I'm... He begins to blush in the company of his newly acquired potential crush. As if once the girl was gone, they needed another virgin.
I had to invade a city for a virgin?
I mean, there may have been other requirements. If this sounds, that doesn't sound orcish to me.
No.
That sounds weird and occulty.
The governor says, "What do you mean, a culty? And why would Tarashmak want my daughter? She is fair and beautiful, but..."
Calm the fuck down, man. Because I don't think this has anything to do with him. Maybe with the... And I turn to the others. Right. Maybe with the people who took him.
Is there anything on the... Oh, wait. I'm going to look to see if there's any...
Branded
any kind of
into
branding,
the side of
anything.
Yep, into the side of his neck are the double fist of power.
I look
Brotherhood
over
bump.
there and, you're always just like, I'm really getting sick of this.
You and me both.
You know, they have lots of pots on the stove. I don't think that's a phrase, but
It is now.
You're all
Like Ricky always
runs
said.
towards Ricky, feeling there's still a little bit of anger towards her because you still fucking killed an orc, but
she flinches back.
you're always gonna go back and just look at the body and be like, I need to take this outside. This body needs to be shown to the army outside, and they need to be explained that they were tricked. Because they believe this is the real Tarashmak.
You've slayed the face open.
Oh, fuck.
Well,
What happens if I cast mending on the face?
ooh.
You know what? I might
Brent,
let that happen. I might, just for hell. I've never heard it done that way. I wonder if you can mend a face.
I don't think there's gonna be a note that says amendum.
It's
Mending
technically not
Asterisk.
alive. It's technically
It
not
is
alive.
not alive. That's what I'm thinking. If he was
that's all.
okay, repairs a single break and an object you touch, such as long as the breaker tears no longer than a foot in dimension, you mend it, leaving no trace. You know what?
Is a dead body an object?
It is now. It is by these standards. I'm
Yes.
gonna let you mend the face back.
Can I might be pushing it. Can I deliberately do a shitty job so it's very obviously not Torosh and someone made to look like Torosh?
Sure, like you want to do like somewhere in between where it's like close but not too close.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So you cast Mend. It's gonna take you some time. The governor takes his daughter inside. That Carl has some kind of cute goodbye. I'll be back for you. He says, and the face of this corpse, this object, we'll call it, is now mended. And it is still in black robes. Underneath it, it does wear armor of Tarash's army, so it wouldn't be unreasonable to probably think. Carl comes over and joins the group as this is happening, and he goes, "Oh, it's Tarash Mock!"
No,
Just let him
Carl.
be taken.
Well,
In Orcish, I tell Dren I'm gonna eat the child.
why would Tarash Mock want me? Or her?
Probably tastes quite bad.
That's a good question, Carl. What importance do you have towards him?
Well, this sounds, like I said, creepy and occulty. So if they're just looking for the first virgin they can find.
Well, yeah. Seems that way.
Yeah, Carl.
But I'm not. His mistake. I'm
At this point, he just turns away from Carl.
not a virgin. He whimpers.
You fucking liar.
I'm going. You're all just gonna wait for Dren to finish mending.
There's nothing wrong with it, Carl. That's fine. That's super fine. Just don't fucking lie to me after I saved your life.
Okay. I am a virgin, he says.
Okay, we gotta get Carl laid.
Oh, no.
Are you offering?
No!
Oh! He turns bright red.
Priorities.
I grew up in a monastery. No.
Can you hurry this up, please?
Actually,
Pulling his head.
Actually.
hold up. If they're after Carl because he's a virgin,
Maybe it's a priority.
maybe it might be a priority.
Please,
Then
God,
they won't be
no.
after Carl anymore.
It's like a reverse horror film.
Yeah.
This is the best side quest ever.
All right. What's the Greyhawk equivalent of Vegas or Tijuana?
You can just hook him up with the governor's daughter.
I think she probably wants to be married first.
That's fine.
We can marry them.
Oh, I can't. Oh, no.
I'm a
Kristen, you're a
priest.
priest.
You guys gonna force Carl into marriage?
Sure.
Arrange
you
the
guys
marriage,
just-
Perfection.
and also for the greater good. You know what I mean?
It's for the greater good, Carl. Suck it up. You're getting married and laid tonight.
If you want. Only if
All
you
terrible
Oh.
people.
Right after a kidnapping and a terrorist attack on a town.
So, it is night. It is definitely past midnight at this point. The governor comes out and says, "I have finally got my daughter to sleep. I owe all of you a great deal of thanks."
Yeah, it's not over yet. I think Ural and Dren have some stuff to do with that body. That's definitely not Tarash Mox or his, kids.
Well,
So,
if you want it, you can have it.
I know.
Gee, thanks.
At the word kids, Ural's is like kids. And he
Well,
kind of goes up a little bit.
Well,
Making a little note of that and then continues waiting for Dren to finish.
you're welcome to stay here for the night, if you are so inclined, but
Yeah.
anything I have is yours. What's
Yeah,
left
we
of
just
it.
have to solve your town's, little invasion problem real quick. And then, yeah, we'll probably chill a bit.
Well, my daughter and I will be safe here unless the city walls are breached.
Yeah. Yeah.
Laurel and I can deal with that part of the problem.
Actually, it seems fitting now. If you would like, you can take any of the weapons on the walls, and he points to all the magical weapons that adorn the second floor. Seems now they are actually worth something.
Looking upon these weapons, you're all just kind of, why do you have such a fascination with collecting weapons?
Oh!
I asked the governor.
These are all gifted to me. I've never picked up a weapon. That looks to actually be true just based on his physique.
Huh. Is that a normal human custom to gift weapons of magic and...
Oh, yes. They represent power and were probably very expensive. Wonderful adornment for my walls, really.
And who did you say gave you these gifts?
Oh, well, that one was, you know, a captain or something. And this one I got for my 50th birthday. And that one up there was, oh, yes. That one was given to me because I ate that pie eating contest. And that one right there. And he just seems to be, like, going around. They all seem to be, like, he was probably gifted them by powerful people or as presents. And he takes little to no care of them.
I'll totally grab one. Like I don't care.
So
I'll totally grab one.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know he's super nuts. I want to take stuff from him.
Yeah, I don't trust any of it. Is there any kind of mace that, like, magical mace or that stands out to
I
Ural?
could go for a mace as well.
All right.
Right.
So on the walls there seems to be some kind of coiled whip that's on, like, all of these seem to be kind of set on those display, like, boards. They're on, like, pieces of wood that hang on the wall, and they have been inset on these little hooks on them. There's a sword. There's a double set of daggers. There's a whip. There's an axe. There's a, oh, what are those things? There's some kind of flail, it looks like a large flail, and a hammer.
Like a normal nailing hammer, or...
No, like a warhammer.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
yes, at the end it's just like a hammer. Yeah. And a hammer of some kind.
I mean, does anyone have any preference that they'd prefer?
I just like stick with the simple stuff, and I'll like grab a short sword.
Yeah, the short sword at the beginning. Yeah, you kind of pull the short sword off, and as it touches your hand, there's like a magic in it. You can see the handle changes and almost embering and glowing in nature.
Yeah, simple.
Uh-huh. I mean, I was gonna take this shit anyway when we were leaving, but it's nice to just, you know, get it legit.
You're not sure what it does, but it is imbued with some kind of magic.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take the flail if nobody else wants it.
Yeah. You walk up to the flail. It, too, as you pull it off the wall, you know, you can tell it's been there a while because you have to, like, really, like, pump it off the hooks that it's sitting on to get it off of it. And, yeah, you, manage to get it down. As you do, it, too, seems to be imbued with some kind of magic, though you are unsure what until there are some checks that are made. Anybody else want to make a selection?
I'm not big on weapons and fighting, but I figure I might want to have something given the direction this is rapidly going.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a blacksmith anyways, so, like, you know, hammer. That sounds good.
Hey, yeah, the hammer does. Yeah, you pick it up. It feels really light in your hands, considering that it's a warhammer of a sort. And it, too, seems to be imbued with some kind of magic. Anybody? Last but certainly not least?
Question: if I was to take the whip, I've never used whips before
Uh-huh.
in D&D. Am I able to use that to, like, trick people, or, like, in combat? Does it have any kind of those features, or is it just a whip where you, like?
So whips are really cool. I like whips because I have one character that has a whip. So whips do a few things. They do slashing damage when used, but whips also allow you, I believe, you can make an attack with them to actually grapple and then pull things with them. Let me see if I can't pull up those stats. Yeah, whips are cool.
Oh wow, whips got way cooler.
I believe that is true. I may have to pull up D&D Beyond for this one. Because I don't think
Yeah,
Whips
I've got it right
extended.
here.
Yeah, whips got way cooler. So did nets. Nets are cool too. Also another cool.
Well, it's like it's not an exotic weapon that deals only non-lethal damage.
Right,
now.
right. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
I will take.
You want to take the whip?
Yeah.
You-
If I can pull people.
Yeah.
With it.
So even cooler because all of these, you guys identified last game that all of these items were magical.
Right.
So, as you pull it down and it unfurls to the ground, you see something interesting. Usually a whip is like laced. The leather's like laced all the way down to the end, where the barb is. But this seems to be made of a really natural, less leather and something very natural. And as you hold it in your hand, almost like a porcupine or something like that, these thorns begin to kind of protrude from it, as if it is magically imbued with something.
Huh.
Nice.
That's weird.
That's weird.
And then he just takes it and kind of, I guess I'll just take that.
Yeah. All right. So you guys stand in the lobby, or I guess, foyer of this gentleman's house. Sorry, I just put a carrot in my mouth. So now I'm all crunchy right when I wanted to talk.
At least it's not a pickle.
Would you guys like to roll any insights on the magic to try to learn what it is?
Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
I think I'm down.
Everybody can just make a simple Arcana check or Insight check, whichever's better for you.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, wow. Okay. Dren took the hammer. This is a
Flail.
Oh, Dren took the flail. That's right. Dren took the flail. Let me give that to you. I have this somewhere right here.
Yeah, new weapons.
Yeah, new weapons.
Yeah.
Yes. This is considered a vicious flail.
Oh, sweet.
It is considered a magical weapon, and if you roll a 20 with it, the target takes an extra 2d6 bludgeoning.
Yeah, I have a vicious mace already. I'm collecting the
Well, shit. We got the whip. As you identify, what did you roll on that? At a 13. It is clear that it is made of something more natural, and in this case, it is what is that spell? Vine? Is it Vine Whip? Vine? No. It's a whip. Thorn Whip.
Thorn Whip?
Thorn Whip. It is an actual, tangible, permanent Thorn Whip. So it does all of the damage and the things that the spell Thorn Whip does. So instead of doing 1d4, which I believe a whip usually does, it's just 1d6, and it gives you all the benefits of casting Thorn Whip, which means that they have to make, it lashes out, and then if it hits them, you pull them 10 feet closer to you, I believe.
10 feet closer if it hits them.
Yep.
Okay.
So
How do
you can
I
look
add
up.
this?
I was about to say. So in this case, you would just the best thing to do is take the whip in D&D. I'm sorry, in Roll20. Take the whip from the compendium and drag it over to your character sheet.
Okay.
And like it's going to drop it in your equipment, and then you can make manual edits to that.
Gotcha.
So just change the damage from 1d4 to 1d6.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yep. And then once you basically grabs them, grapples them, and pulls them closer if you actually hit them. If you want to pull them closer, basically. Yep.
So if it hits them, if it hits them, I get to pull them closer, 10 feet.
Yeah, it's an optional, basically. Do you pull them closer or not? But yes.
Okay, 1d6.
Okay. Next up, Ricky. Ricky took the short sword. The short sword glows with this embering, almost end to it. And it is a short sword that seems to do fire damage when you strike things with it.
Sweet.
Yes, so it takes all of the normal attributes of a short sword, but you get the additional bonus of the 1d6 fire damage. And last but certainly not least, what did I miss? The hammer?
I didn't roll because I'm just going to cast Identify.
Boom!
I get it
Yep.
being from the Forge domain, so I just get to know everything.
You get to know all the things. As you begin to look at this, it is a beautiful, beautiful item. Maybe it was the craftsmanship that drew you into it, being what you are. But it is a... Let me see, I want to make sure I give you the right one here. I'm going to give you... Because it is... Yep. So this is a hammer of thunderbolts. In this case, usually I believe in the book you have to be wearing a belt and all this other stuff. It is an item you have to attune to, but I'm not worried about you wearing all the special things. But while you're attuned to it, your strength score increases by 4. When you roll a 20 on an attack roll against the weapon, whoever it is must also succeed on a DC saving throw. So you can look it up. It's actually in the compendium, Hammer of Thunderbolts, so you can get all the details on it.
Yeah, I pulled it up right now.
It's a pretty sweet item. I was hoping somebody would go for the hammer. Hammer's my favorite. Okay. You guys kind of pick all your stuff up, you identify it, you begin the process of attuning with it, and the governor kind of at the bottom floor of his manor, still in shambles, once again says, I want to thank you. I know the weapons are only a small token, but thank you, really. And he scuttles off in the direction of potentially his office, or like another downstairs area, but he is no longer to be seen.
That guy's weird.
That guy's extremely weird.
Didn't he give us a lot of gold last week as well?
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
I mean, it's fine. He's just weird. He's a weird guy.
Should we be concerned about the whole?
We should deal with the army.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys deal with the army. That seems cool. She's keeping a very healthy distance between her and both of them.
Again, Euro just kind of darts at Ricky.
Yeah.
And then
with your eyes or your body? Oh, okay.
And then just randomly
charges at Ricky.
I mean, I don't want to stab you.
Euro, let's get this over with quickly before it gets too late. I say that too, Dren.
Cool.
There is a stable out front, their personal one that probably has a cart or something if you want to use it, or you can just strap the body to a set of horses and you guys can ride down.
Throw the body over the kind of pommel of the saddle.
All right. You guys ride down to the gates. Ricky and Dren, seeing for the first time the devastation of the two bombs. Well, one bomb really is the only one that comes across, but the bottom southern side of the city is lit in burning embers, and orange glow meets the dark blue sky. As you ride towards the northeastern gate. As you arrive, the soldiers seem concerned. It's probably been about an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
Can I blow is there like a parley signal on the horn as we approach
I
the
would
gate?
say so. You blow this horn professionally, so
yeah. Just whatever signal there is to say, come and talk to me.
Mm-hmm. So you sound the symbol for parley or conversation.
I think the Orcish translation of that signal will be don't eat us now, eat us later.
Right, yes. And the message of don't eat us now, eat us later rings up and over the wall and into the ears of the captains.
Cannon.
Yep. And sure enough, you walk the gates kind of crest open. The captain rides up and says, should we go with you?
No.
Oh, that captain.
Yeah, he says, okay. All right. Okay.
Close the gates.
Okay.
Now, listen, there is a chance that this may go poorly.
What, why?
Because they're orcs.
What is that? And he points to the body over your horse.
Don't be concerned with that. Don't be concerned with that.
Who did you kill?
Go back inside and close the gates.
Oh.
Listen to Dren.
Oh, okay. And kind of like that Simpsons gif, he just pulls back into the bushes, and the doors close.
Dren looks. Euro kind of looks over to Dren.
Are all four of you going?
I think it's just me and Dren.
Okay.
I'm still in the garden.
Oh, you stayed in the garden. Okay.
Yeah, I'm staying behind. I'm gonna go back out and try and help people who are dying.
Yep. Cool.
Ricky's cleaning the place out.
I like this.
Ricky is sitting by Carl, probably in the garden outside.
Yep.
With her knees held to her chest and just sitting there, totally silent.
Ricky?
What, Carl?
You look sad.
No, I don't.
I mean, okay. It was really brave of you to save me.
Carl,
Yeah?
shut up.
Okay. Miss Ricky?
Yes, Carl.
Can I hug you? Please?
No, Carl.
Okay. Well, can I sit by you and hug myself?
I can't stop you.
Okay. He kind of comes over. He doesn't get too close to start. He leaves like a solid like person space between the both of you, and he like holds himself a little bit. Miss Ricky, if that really isn't Tarash Mog, then who was it?
Someone that a certain group wanted people to think was him. My guess is he's being uncooperative, and they don't like that.
Oh.
They really don't like that.
Should I send a message to let everybody at the Saleem Pass know?
That they're sending out lookalikes. Yeah. Sure.
Hey! I had a good idea, Miss Ricky. I think you're rubbing off on me. Thanks for being my mentor.
Carl doesn't need to worry about getting kidnapped.
He scooches just a smidge closer.
She starts slapping the sparrow tattoo on her left bicep. She like slaps it 3 times. And then she reaches up under her right sleeve and scratches at something. And then just kind of holds her arms against her chest.
Are we meditating? Right. Shh. I'll shut up now. And he bows his head and kind of tries to mimic whatever it is you're doing in your like moment, because he feels like probably it's very cool or personal and he wants to be involved in it. So he kind of tries to replicate you, but he does sit there next to you in silence.
I love Carl. I love him.
And tries to take in your moment of trying to come to terms with, I guess, what you did. Wow, and the camera pans away as Carl and Ricky sit in a little bit of a moment in the garden. Yeah, and the camera pans back down as the two of you are almost to the armies. The 7 captains stand lined up. The army behind them of a couple hundred orcs and half-orcs stand still at attention. And he says, well, I'm glad to know you're not a liar.
Who's in charge here?
I am, he says.
Come here.
What? And who are you to give orders?
Would he recognize me? I've spent a lot of time with Tarash Mog.
You know what? Let's see if he does. I'm gonna make a roll here. Let's see if he recognizes who you are. That's the wrong box. Not in that box. This box. I'm gonna say this is probably just a flat and that'll be a perception. Okay, he does. When you let out your fish roar behind him, he goes, "Wah! Dren the Placeless.
Here, now."
And he kind of rears back his horse a little bit and looks at his other officers and pulls forward and steps out away from them a little bit to give some space for the 3 of you to have a conversation.
I want to throw the body to the ground at his feet and point at it, and then I say, "Tell me that is Tarash Mog."
You killed Tarash Mog.
Look at the body.
He looks closely. That is not Tarash Mog.
You followed this man as though he was Tarash Mog.
The man...
I shall slay you now.
The man that left us, I swear to you, he looked like Tarash Mog.
At that point, I want Yorl's going to kind of, with his previous commands, give a very disapproving, like, you fucked up growl at the captain. And kind of try to get up to his face and be like, how could you, and he's going to start saying this in Orcish, how could you fall for this trickery? Are you a lonely soldier that can't see the clear difference?
No. He says, I'm sorry. We didn't know. He came to us and he said all the right things. And
Be quiet.
This...
You will tell us everything soon.
This could have completely overthrow Tarash Mog's secret plan. I am trying to like kind of.
Oh, are you deceiving him?
Yeah, at this because I'm trying to not let the orcs know that Tarash Mok is missing.
Oh, I see. You okay? Roll a deception then. Yeah.
Okay.
He goes, what do you mean secret plan?
Well, it's a secret for a reason, isn't it?
Right. I'm sorry. I don't know why all my characters are bumbling idiots.
Tarash Mok had business in this city. Business which you have disrupted.
He told us that we were supposed to just hold him, distract him while he went in for the girl. That was it.
This was not Tarash Mok, and you should have known that.
I'm sorry, he looked just like him. And you do recognize, because you only mended him back part of the way, that he probably did look significantly more like him.
Fully aware of that.
And he says, well, what do we do? Why would Tarash send a fake?
Go back to Selene Pass and wait for Tarash Mok as you have been ordered.
We didn't come for Selene Pass.
Just go back to your previous position.
Weren't they all meant to be waiting at Selene Pass?
That set of Tarash's army was, but both you and Gerald know that Tarash had multiple smaller armies, like other dispatches that were out doing different things. Now, along the, let's see, I might be able to.
That's okay. I can spin this.
Yeah, I was about to say. Well, you'll see it inside of Roll20. Everybody else, we saw the map last week, and I'll have to get the map set up here in a second. But you can take a peek at this one. I'll give this one to you guys. Of the peninsula here, kind of this area. There where Deerfield is. And all of that line that leads up and through the forest, that like swampy area. Remember, that whole area in there is kind of a interesting war zone, really, because that was the way that Tarash marched north, up and around towards Selene Pass, and he sent out dispatches along the way, which is probably part of it would have been part of what Ricky saw. But you also know that they were holding smaller towns. They had taken over smaller towns. Which is what had upset the Principality of Ulick so much about this, is because they were encroaching upon their territory. They were moving a little too far west to make them comfortable.
Cool.
Yeah, so you would know that he could have been part of that dispatch.
Cool. I'm basically going to tell him to go back to Selene Pass, though.
Okay.
I want word to reach Selene Pass that Tarash Mok is alive, and if he turns up with his force, saying that he's been commanded back there by Tarash Mok, I think that's probably good for us.
Yeah.
All right, so
I would think.
So what news do you want him to spread? That Tarash Mok is missing?
That the official orders is to hold position and
until Tarash gets back.
But the thing is, Tarash, they think Tarash did come back, but that wouldn't.
These do.
This group does.
Yeah.
There's like other groups could also probably fall.
Yeah, I think we basically want to report back A, that Tarash is alive and still giving orders, and B, that there are imposters
among them, Tarash imposters,
and that anybody who follows the orders of a Tarash imposter will meet with Tarash's displeasure.
Yeah.
Okay.
To not be stupid.
Yeah, he says, of course, we will ride swiftly and share the information.
Go now.
And he turns to the men.
I want to give him the body of the fake Tarash to take back as well.
As you pick it up, he says, that is too much. And he takes his sword and swipes the head off of it.
That'll do.
And attaches it to the side, kind of in like a netted piece on the side of his horse, as the head of the fake Tarash bounces along the side of the horse. He turns, they give order, the army for the first time in hours comes out of a holding position, and they turn on their feet and begin to march the opposite direction. It does seem that you have satisfied them. They are riding and moving very swiftly towards they're going to go like northeast and up and around towards Selene Pass to meet, I guess, what is the remainder of Tarash's army that is there.
I genuinely have like adrenaline right now.
That could have gone so poorly. I guess at this point, I guess we're going to turn around and I kind of want to just have a conversation with Dred in Orcish. I mean, obviously it's just us, but just in case, this is very concerning. Why would there be fake Tarash Moks giving false orders? And there could be many other armies just waiting for the false orders.
Would I have any idea why? Like, I've kind of lost track of what we do and don't know. Would we have
This is more of like the Dark Brotherhood of Brotherhood doing this, right?
I think clearly.
Yeah. Because the guy had that tattoo on his neck.
Like, Tarashmak wasn't doing what they wanted, so they took him out, made a fake one to do what they wanted.
Yeah. I could basically say that to you all.
And that surgery, that surgery seemed far too. I don't know. It seemed far too, I guess, good.
We are obviously dealing with people of ample resources.
Yeah. Well, shit. And
shit.
And then just keep riding back to the town.
As you ride back into the gates, you're met once again by the captain, who, this time with a little bit more oomph, kind of stops you, and he says, "Gentlemen, I appreciate your dedication to keeping the city safe, but need I remind you, having a body of Tarashmak on our hands is a problem. What happened to it?"
The body is dealt with.
And it was not Tarashmak.
I just want to push past him. I've not got time to talk.
Yeah.
He goes, "Wait, you can't go. You have a mission. You must take this information now."
Literally just ride past him.
We have what? Said, I look over to Ren.
And all of the adrenaline at that moment, you kind of like simmer down and you're like, wait a second, you're right. You were supposed to, like, in the morning at sunrise, ride out towards what is considered like iffy lands of the Pomarj, kind of where the peninsula starts, to the city of Pakarel, which is a, non-denominational, non-racial city of orcs and humans, and everybody lives, quote-unquote, happily. There was somebody there that he told you to meet in the warehouse. And he says, yes. And he says, "Please, you have to go see her."
We have to find our friends first.
We will relay the message. We must return to our party, regroup, and then we will relay the information as requested. Says, is that enough?
We know our duty. Go and do yours. Tend to your wounded.
He kind of looks around. His soldiers are obviously watching this moment. And he says, "Soldiers!" What? And they, salute, and they salute behind him, the both of you, for saving their city.
You're also just confused at the salute. It's just like, I just want to leave.
You guys turn in so much disrespect as the both of you ride back up, and the clomping of feet of hooves are heard by Dristan and Ricky inside. Or, Dristan, you were down healing more people, you said.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Because I know there was a bunch who were. There's no way that I was getting to everybody, right? But we had 2 or 3 bombs go off.
2 bombs. Mm-hmm. One on the south side of the city,
I think 2.
And one on the north side, kind of the eastern side of the city.
Got it. So I think in this time, I probably met up with those priests.
Mm-hmm.
And
you went back down towards the temple.
And probably attempted to work with them to organize like a triage center of some sort. Nice. Because like I have that soldier training. So I'm thinking, okay, I might know how to coordinate the aftermath of an attack pretty decently. And trying to centralize it all and get out as much healing as I can on these people.
Yeah, and it's definitely heartfelt. The priest, there's chaos in the streets, and the priest, the temple still stands. A portion of the building has collapsed in from a flying piece of debris. But all in all, they have been able to convert. The pews have been converted, the altar has been converted as a surgical table, and they seem to be trying to get in as many people as possible to heal them. And you help them organize the chaos, making things clean, as well as better organized and more efficient in terms of helping these people get what they need, both food, clothing, and actual medical help. It does take you a while to do this, and I would say probably even longer than it took Drin and Ural to negotiate. But at this point, Dristan, you can hear off in the distance that as a rooster crows off in the distance, letting you know that sunrise is very near. So it is Ricky and Carl who sit in a meditative silence, a shared moment, when they hear the clomp of Drin and Ural's feet.
Ricky snaps out of it and kind of wipes off the fresh blood where she scratched herself under her sleeve and just sighs heavily. Yeah, she's just looking around like she's not really here, like her mind is completely somewhere else, just waiting for them to show up.
Carl gets up to greet you. He now stands in the house, and as he stands, he turns and looks over kind of the hilltop that this sits on that overlooks the city. And he goes, "Oh," as you look out and the sun begins to rise over the city of Greyhawk. It hits the water, in fact, and rises upwards, making this beautiful umbering orange color that casts over everything. And for the first time, you can see from this hilltop the devastation on the city at an aerial view, and the major places where the explosions happened. But the city seems to have quieted at this point as the sun begins to rise on the next day. And Carl says, oh, we're so glad you're back.
I look at Carl. Forgot he was still here. Are you all right? Are there any harms on you, young one?
You look down, his clothes are super tattered. He is definitely injured. I think we stabilized him, but he clearly has like a broken arm and some other things, and the gash in his head, though not bleeding anymore, is definitely scabbed over and very large. You can see where they bashed him on the head when they took him. And he says,
Ow. Oh, go ahead.
He says nothing then.
I want to put my hand on his head and use lay on hands on him.
Oh.
Heal him for as much as I can.
His arm, like snaps back into place and everything kind of begins to heal, and he, thank you. Oh, I feel better.
Next time.
Yeah.
Don't get kidnapped.
Oh, okay.
And then he's just going to walk past Carl.
But wait, did you stop him? The armies? Are they going to attack us?
Yeah, Carl, they're coming right now. You should go fight them.
Oh, no!
Walk and just continue walking and kind of like start gathering stuff, I guess. Looking around, seeing what everyone's doing, where everybody is. I'm assuming Tristan's not within eyesight, right? Because he's off helping people.
Right. He would kind of be coming back at this time, but the sun has just crested the ridge, and he's seeing it from down at the bottom of the city.
Okay.
Temple.
And then I want to look over to Ricky, kind of not say anything, and then just return to like gathering the stuff and preparing for our trip, I guess, that we apparently have to go to.
Mr. Dren?
Yes, Carl.
I sent word to Salim Pass via the pigeon.
Good. How is Ricky?
I think she's sad but doesn't know it. Or something. She might also have a rash.
Carl's just a master of physical and mental medicine.
Carl is a character that I hope is in every single one of my games. I hope.
Carl, you should go and say goodbye to your girlfriend. We are leaving soon.
Well, I did that before she went to bed. Seems rude to wake her.
Then go and get our horses ready.
Oh, I can, okay. And he patters off to go prep horses for the ride.
I'm going to go and pack my stuff up, but first I just kind of stop by Ricky and just don't put a hand on your shoulder because I know you don't like to be touched, but give you like a look of concern and then go back and pack my stuff up.
Everybody's like, okay. So
she's surprised, but she doesn't say anything either.
Each of you, yeah, go ahead, Paul.
Just so that for my sake, we are all aware that we have to go on a mission, right? I'm not missing anything here.
No, that was given to you. I mean, you already really had that before coming to Greyhawk. You had a name, but you thought they were here. And the captain told you in the warehouse conversation that, in fact, that person was not located here, that they had been hiding out in a place that Dren knew very well, his home of Paccarel.
Yeah, we wanted to go there previously the night before, but we got sucked into this.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that.
And we were going to meet them because they had some relation to the Fae Queen.
They have a scroll that outlines Toroshmok's lineage.
Right.
We learned earlier, but also I think something to do with the Fae Queen as well.
Right. So yeah, there's hint at the Fae Queen potentially being involved, or at least that's the rumor. That's what you were told because she failed to provide support at the Battle of Selene Pass.
Right. And we're trying to go get information so she can help us find where they may have taken Toroshmok.
Right. And
Gotcha.
this person seems to she was said to have studied the lineage of Toroshmok to kind of have put her life into figuring it out. You are also told that currently it is believed he has 22 spawns.
Yeah, but 11 have been found
11
dead.
have been found dead.
Possibly now 12.
Well, I don't know if we ever concluded that was his son.
No.
Yep, you don't really know.
We're not sure.
So
Yeah.
11 / maybe 12.
Yeah.
Right.
Although I think probably 11.
It would make more sense to use an offspring to make him look more like a father rather than a random orc.
So you got
They
the kind of the
found
shitty
one.
knockoff model, and then you can upgrade it a bit.
Yeah. So
Maybe.
I'm gonna say possibly.
If
12.
his children are
Trying to go out and get him.
mostly orc looking, but we don't know.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
True.
And as promised, a package arrives as the sun actually like bridges the water entirely and begins to take the day. It's a travel package that was promised to you by the captain that has bare minimum and basics in it, and it does have a small note on top. But Drin, do you stay through sunrise or do you head up after sunrise?
No,
No, sorry, not Drin. I'm sorry, Dristan. Dristan's down in the town. Do you head up? I'm sorry, after sunrise.
I think there's that same moment that we got like very similarly where he just kept working at the wall and was like,
Yep.
But this time he's like, no, I got shit to do. I need to be doing. And so like with sunrise, he talks to the priests and the acolytes and tells them that I have to go there. I have to do something.
Yeah,
Sorry, I really want to be able to stay and help, but I can't.
The priest walks over and he takes both of your hands and he says, "You have no need to apologize to us. Your kindness is vast and very much apparent. We wish you well on your journey, and whatever it is that you're going to do."
Elf lady who said I was rude. I'm kind.
Yo, at me next time.
Just not to enslaved elf wolves.
Yeah, and he says, "Farewell, and may whatever god it is you worship be in your favor."
Yeah, and to you.
Yes, yeah, and he can tell that you're probably not used to like a very formal type setting, and he kind of giggles and he says, "You have a good heart, Tristan. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise."
Yeah, elf lady. All right, so I'm gonna pack everything up and hop on the horse and just kind of give him a little wave as I head back off to find my companions, who all seem to be sad somewhere in this city.
Yeah, follow the trail of sad. As you ride up to the house, it is relatively quiet. Carl is out front pittering about, unpacking the package that just came and attaching everything to horses. And he greets you, "Oh, Mr. Tristan, now I can get your horse ready. They're inside, not talking to each other."
That's a nice
Lincoln Park
pace.
music playing. Sorry, I'm sorry.
I kind of hop off the horse and hand the reins over to him. I assume we're leaving soon.
Yes, we were supposed to go at sunrise, but oncoming war and faces and stuff.
Impending death, all that.
Right, mm-hmm.
All right. Get ready, Carl.
Oh, okay.
Gonna head in and try and find my sad friends.
They're sad pretty openly. I'm pretty sure, so it's not too hard.
I don't think Euro would be sad. He's more just like
Grumpy.
Yeah, he's just like, it was like my leader, my mentor was what he thought was dead. But then it's like, okay, he's not. So how the hell do I kind of react to this, So he's more of just like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck is happening right now? Why is this happening? Like, kind of just unsure. It's more uncertainty than sad.
Thinking think Dren is the one I'm going to approach first. Because he seems to be the most level-headed to me.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Dren, ready to go?
Sorry, I didn't catch that, man.
Oh, it's Dren. Are we ready to go? Carl's almost finished with the horses.
I think so. You're all and Ricky have been quiet, so I guessing that things ready.
What happened out there?
The army believed they were sent by Mark to burn the city to the ground and take, what's her name? The daughter girl.
I wrote it
The
down.
virgin.
I wrote it down.
It was like Jessica or something,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
I'm gonna find it because I feel
Yeah.
bad.
I can't
Okay, wait.
remember.
Here we go. Let's see what we got.
I think it was something very specific. Like it's not a common thing.
Yeah, we didn't like it.
Yeah, we did not. like
Miranda.
it.
No, I loved it. It's Miranda.
It was Miranda.
It's Miranda. It's a great
Oh,
name. From
okay, that was
Shakespeare. It's
like
awesome.
We had someone NPC with a weird name that I don't think anyone liked.
Yeah, probably Carl.
Or was that? It was. Well, Carl was one of them, but it might have been the governor too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we forgot about it. We
I
just called
can't
him
remember.
Governor.
None of us wrote that down.
Yeah, we didn't want to.
I don't care about him.
He's the worst. Sorry, Chelsea. We hate
It's okay.
him.
You don't have to like every NPC.
I like Carl. The end.
I think
That,
he did
that
well.
hot elf.
Yeah, it's just his character's a dick.
The worst.
The worst. Oh. He always sounds like he's in pain. Okay. Oh, do you
So,
guys
yeah.
want to? Yeah, you guys wanted to have a little bit of a conversation. The rest of the house here, the servants and everything have dissipated since the attack, but it looks like the governor and his daughter have not risen yet.
Cool.
Good. Let's get out of here before they do.
No, I'm gonna check on her before we go.
Check out. Yeah, that's fine. I just don't want to get roped into another conversation.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. Me
It's gonna
neither.
be a freaking
Ren
cluster.
is done with side quests.
Yeah,
I'm done with this town.
the worst town.
Yeah.
It's weird cults. It's fat governor.
An honor to turn 16.
It's like
How many-
all the aspects of a perfect Pulp Fiction like city. Like it's just about to.
Yep.
People are about to start coming out of hoods and just like
Yeah.
sacrificing lamb on the
Yeah.
middle of the street. Just wait for it.
I'm gonna check on her before we go.
Okay. Yeah, you
Perfect.
peek in her room, you creep up, and when you peek in the door, it looks like Carl has snuck past you and is already standing there. He's just kind of standing in the
Oh my God.
doorway, watching her sleep.
What
She is.
are you doing?
Oh! And he snaps the door. He says, "Shh, she's sleeping."
You fucking Carl.
I didn't.
Get the fuck out.
He goes, "It's just she's so pretty when she
Get the
sleeps."
fuck out. I shove him out. Just a little. Just
Yeah,
a little.
yeah. And he stumbles out. He's like, "I'm sorry.
Watch a girl when she's sleeping, you
She's
weirdo.
so pretty though."
I'm gonna watch her while she sleeps, make sure she's okay.
You peer in, and sure enough, she is sound asleep. Just like, just like ever cutest, quaintest, like princess sleep. Her room seems to be untouched by the chaos and doesn't match the rest of the house.
Is there anything fun in here?
By fun, she
House
has
and birds.
clearly a wardrobe full of clothing. That you would fit in. She has some kind of vanity that has like jewelry and things and makeup and stuff on it. She has some stuffed animals in the corner. But all in all, like dolls and things, but all in all, it seems like to be a pretty modest bedroom for somebody that's probably as wealthy as she is.
Okay, this is weird. Ricky kind of looks around, and since she's sleeping, the vanity kind of catches her eye, and she like walks over and like undoes some of like the makeup and stuff. She like doesn't know how to do this. She tries to like put some on, like a little blush
Yeah.
and like lip color, and
Oh.
she's looking at it for a long time, and then just like wipes it all off with
Yeah.
the back of her hand,
Oh.
and then wipes that on her pants and just
Aww.
Yeah, and as you were wiping on your pants, you're getting ready to leave, you remember the necklace that she was wearing
Yeah.
around her neck sits on the vanity space, the tracking
And he said it was an amulet of non-detection, right?
It's some kind of tracking necklace. It helped him track her. So that if she got taken, ideally if she was wearing it.
I mean, I guess it's like good for her to have, but it's creepy too.
Yeah, you like pick it up, and it's a very quaint, simple necklace. It's just a single like gem at the end that seems to have some kind of enchantment on it.
And I mean, I guess he would have the other one. She pockets it and she goes to find the governor's room.
Yeah. And you see him. He's actually not in his bed, or he's not in his bed. It looks like he fell asleep in a chair. His belly like bulbous, bottle still in hand.
I ain't body shaming. I'm looking for.
He's like, just like chubbed out in his chair, almost probably too big to even fit in this chair. But he never made it to his bed. He fell asleep drinking after tonight's just chaos.
Cool. Do I see another necklace?
Why don't you just roll an investigation on the room? That'll include him and everything. And I'm going to let you roll I mean, he's pretty passed out. I'm not even going to worry about you rolling a...
Okay.
Yeah.
18.
Ooh, 18, yeah. You kind of peek around. You're like looking. You don't see him wearing another necklace. You're like digging through his stuff. You don't see anything. And then you notice on his hand is a ring.
Hmm?
You pull the ring off, and it seems to have an almost identical gemstone to the one that you have. And as you kind of look at the two of them next to each other, they glow this very bright light. Like it just lets off a beacon of light, filling the space as you get them near to one another. Yeah, and then you pull them apart, and the light like dims down a little bit, as if it signifies the closer you get, the brighter the ring gets, the brighter the necklace gets. Kind of a Marco Polo type situation.
Cool. I stuffed that shit in my pockets and get the fuck out.
Yeah. And you ski-daddle downstairs. Carl goes, is she okay, Miss Ricky?
Yeah, Miranda's fine. She's good, just making sure she didn't have like sleep apnea. Let's go.
Oh, okay. And he follows you downstairs. Our three gentlemen, are you guys ready for travel?
Yeah. Yep.
The only thing Dren is doing is taking the drum head off his mace so he can carry it as a drum now that he's got the flail. Literally it.
He's got everything pretty much ready to go. Horses are set, and you guys set out in early morning. The sun is not very high in the sky at all. Most of the city is actually sleeping now, trying to recuperate from a very, very long night. And you ride out in the direction of Packrell. Carl, also in tow, set for what will be a couple days' journey. It is long and strenuous as you pass through this hilly area. Dren, I'm going to let you make the survival roll because you are leading the group towards Packrell.
God, okay. Not good at survival, guys, so
Let's
sorry.
see how it goes.
Oh,
Second nat 20 of the night, friend. It is meant to be. You may not be a terribly great traveler, but you know how to get home. How long has it been since you left Packrell?
Oof, I left Packrell when I started following Turosh, pretty much. So we established that was
Been
like
about a year and some change.
I think I've been following him for over a decade, haven't I?
Yeah, so it's been a long time. And
been
you,
some time.
yeah, and you've kept up with the Packrell like general information, so you know that the city has actually expanded, especially since Turosh has started his march and takeover of this area. But in terms of like how long it's been, you've lived in and out of Packrell over the 10 years, but because this is Turosh's favorite city too. It's a beacon of everything that he stands for, and it's been about a year probably since you've actually like stepped back inside the city. Cool. And as you do ride in and out of the hills. You come across quite a few areas that were completely devastated during the march north, and a few places that weren't. Probably some of the same little thwarps and villages that Ricky came across many, many days ago as she passed towards Celine Pass. As you come up on the city of Packrell, there is a gate. There is a orc, actually, that stands out front. His tusks have been filed down. and he says, and welcomes both of you. I'm guessing Dren and Ural probably right in the front. He says, captains, welcome home. It has been a long time.
Is it customary for him to kind of greet travelers at the gate? Would we be expected to stop and chat to him?
You definitely don't have to stop and chat. He's clearly here, like, with sword and everything. He's here in case somebody's going to attack, but you know that doesn't happen here. So over time, the city of Paccarel has been able to become a little bit lenient, we'll say.
Cool. So I'll just kind of nod to him and kind of greet him with whatever his rank is.
Yeah. He's a city guard. He's like a nobody. But you know he hangs his position pretty frequently. And he says, I see you have visitors with you. Welcome! And he greets both Ricky and Dristan. Probably the first real greeting you have received since leaving Selene Pass. Something that wasn't completely just inlaid with bitterness or concern. Carl, of course, is like, oh, well, hello!
God damn it, Carl.
Hi.
I like that.
We look like the best father-daughter duo right now.
Right? It's just those two, and then Bob and Louise from Bob's Burgers in the back. Just like that's us now. We're just not happy to be here.
And Carl is Gene. Amazing.
It's actually
Carl's
Carl.
That's amazing. Great.
As you ride into the city of Paccarel, it is Ural, have you been here before?
I would assume so.
I would assume so too. You guys know these streets
but I'm
well.
probably not familiar with it just based on travels, maybe.
So, it is a very large, thriving city. Probably not as large as Greyhawk's population, 10, 12,000. But it is impressive and very different than any other cities that you've seen before. The separation and segregation seem to be all but diminished. You see all kinds of races here, not just orc and orc kinsmen, and not just humans and dwarves and halflings, but there walks another strange creature, cat-like in nature. Very strange and odd things that maybe come from far-off lands, but this seems to be a melding pot. Even the way that the buildings are structured, the architecture and the design, doesn't hail of just dwarven or just orc. It is a beautiful hodgepodge of cultures, and people sit about in a joyous manner. The city seems to be alive in the early morning as you guys have ridden into Paccarel. Cool. There's a town center in this city, but you have to tell me where is it that you're going.
I assume Drem would know like a good inn. Somewhere we could go and get kind of stabled up and get clean off the road before we start on our work.
Do you have a house here?
I never said that I did, but I also never said that I didn't.
That's why I asked, Sir Friend. Because if you do, you could always go back to your place if that's a thing that you have.
Yeah, I think I probably would have kept like an above shop apartment, not a house kind of thing.
You have like a loft apartment atop a...
Yeah, like probably near a library, because Dren's a wanker.
Yep. Well, we'll say, for the sake of this, you sit atop an inn, a tavern, it's not an inn, called the Fuzzy Lantern. The Fuzzy Lantern.
Why is the lantern fuzzy?
Does that make everybody uncomfortable?
Yeah, just a little bit, but I'm alright with it.
It's called the Fuzzy Lantern.
Sounds like one.
There's only one way to find out, but Dren knows the Fuzzy Lantern, and he knows that the Fuzzy Lantern.
Bet you do.
Dren is familiar with the Fuzzy Lantern.
Fuzzy, super fuzzy.
He's au fait with the fuzz.
He kind of leads you guys through town. And to his place, there's a small door just to the right of the main tavern entrance in the storefront that clearly leads to an apartment or some small place on top. Do you go into the tavern, or are you going into your place, Dren?
I think I would kind of... Does the tavern have stables?
There's places to tie it up out front, but the stables for the city are... there's stables on multiple street corners, but they're not attached to the tavern, let me say.
I guess I would, hitch the horse up outside, and I'd go up and obviously...
Yeah.
Please. Come up.
Chelsea, on the way here, Ricky was very quiet, but she was keeping an eye out for crows.
Great. Why don't you just roll a perception, and we'll just give it to you like across the way to see if you saw any. At a 20. Yep, you were definitely followed. They picked you up about halfway through your trek. As you crossed through the hills and out the other side, where things became a little bit flatter. You have been trailed since then.
Okay, I doubt they ever got close enough for me to hit them with anything I have. Like, all I have are throwing stars, which are pretty short range. So I just, flip them off.
Yeah,
every time
they stayed very high, the birds did. As you got closer to Paccarel, there were a few farms and things on the outskirts of town. One of the last time you saw the crow, it had posted on a scarecrow of some kind, about a mile outside the city. It seemed to stop following you. It didn't follow you into the interior of Paccarel.
Mm-hmm. I always give them the bird every time I see one.
Give a crow the bird.
Yep, I see you.
Yeah, but no crows that you can see. I know we didn't take a break, gang. We're going to be cutting a little bit short tonight, so I'm just kind of pushing through. So the rest of cast will join us here shortly. They're probably taking a much-needed bio break.
Probably.
The tavern, the Fuzzy Lantern, is a bustle with one or two people on the inside. Somebody seems to be kind of brushing some things out. You watch some dust come out from under, or the crack in the door as somebody seems to be sweeping and preparing for the day. It is early morning. And do you guys go up to Dren's place? He's already kind of walked up.
Yeah, Ricky will stop off in the Fuzzy Lantern.
I think
get
Earl
alcohol.
would also. I think Earl would probably stay at the Fuzzy Lantern.
Yeah,
all
we're
right.
gonna get some
I don't
alcohol.
like saying that.
We're getting alcohol.
All right.
One alcohol, please.
One alcohol's for the group. Dren goes up to his apartment, and we'll get there shortly. But the Fuzzy Lantern, you watch as dust kind of pours out. Somebody's sweeping dust, and it stops. You open the door, and there is a human, a kind of wiry haired. It stands almost on end in these like curls, the way kind of Miss Frizzle's hair does. It seems to be grayed out, almost colorless, and this rickety old human welcomes you in and says, morning customers. Come. You're like,
I just need a room to put my stuff in.
oh,
Hitch the horse.
yes. Come. He kind of like scutters behind the bar, and he says, sleep. You would like a place to sleep. He says,
So no one can stay with me, right?
Yeah, you were invited by Dren to stay in his place, which is upstairs.
Yeah, I'm literally just getting alcohol.
Oh, great.
That's what I'm doing. I'm waiting for the alcohol.
Dren, you know that Fuzzy, which is the wiry old man, owns the apartment that you rent. He owns like this whole building.
Cool.
He goes, this is, no, I've nowhere to stay. The room is rented. Sorry.
All right, and I just walk back out.
He goes,
And then
what about you, little one? Can I get you something to drink?
Give me the strongest alcohol you have.
Of course I will. And as he turns, you kind of are taking this little this tavern inn. From the center of the room dangles this lantern that is covered in this strange glowing moss. It's just kind of like emanating a light. It literally is a fuzzy lantern with like moss and gross stuff. And it's covering the ceilings, adding this level of like atmosphere to the place. It keeps it almost like unnaturally cool as the moss has created a small bit of an ecosystem along the top of the roof. And he comes out and slams a pint down and he says, now that's brewed up by Fuzzy himself.
That's you, right? Not the lantern.
I'm Fuzzy. That's my Fuzzy Lantern.
They don't have anything to do with each other, right?
I don't think so.
You didn't bring this alcohol anywhere near that, right?
You mean the Fuzzy?
Yeah.
Oh, no. The Fuzzy stays on the ceiling.
Great. I'm just going to here's some coin. I'm just going to take this whole thing, which is like half the size of my body.
Right.
And I'm going to leave.
Oh.
So it's like a go cup.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. And he picks it up and he says, well, I'll just buy 2 new cups with this. And he plunks it into a relatively empty pail in the back where I guess he keeps his gold.
Yeah, I'm gonna go upstairs and join Dren.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't think who I was gonna say first. Dren.
Dristan, what are you up to? Did you come into the tavern as well?
I order right after Ricky, although I my question is, what was fuzzy first, him or the lantern?
He goes, wouldn't you like to know?
That's disconcerting. I will have the same strong alcohol.
Oh, yes, of course. And he taps something and sits it down. There's a nice foam head on the top of it.
And I'm then gonna follow Ricky to Drin. I'm gonna go drink with my kids.
Oh, another and he says, well, come back. Don't leave the fuzzy. And he kind of waves to Dristan. And the three of you, I'm guessing you're following them up, or are you staying on the street?
I think he's just gonna take a moment outside to kind of just relax and think about some stuff.
Okay. And the two of you head up. Dren, what does your place look like?
Cool. God, Dren's place. So I guess it's a couple of rooms, like a bedroom and like a main room, and it is wall to wall and like piled up just like books and scrolls and like sheets of map, and it's quite a roomy space, except it's just full of knowledge that Dren has collected over the years. There's like a small bed that doesn't look big enough for an orc stuffed in the corner of one of the rooms. Probably a little patch of floor where the fuzzy has come up through the floorboards, and he's like been trying to get it under control over the years, and eventually he's just kind of walled it in like a little indoor garden. And in one corner of the main room that isn't covered in kind of books and things like that, there's like a little clear patch where there is just a harp standing.
Okay.
And like the books are like heavy old like history and lore, and there's nothing fun in this room to read unless you're Dren.
All right. And it does look like we had a divine favor. I'm sorry if I missed that, gang. That divine favor. I want to make sure it goes to the right person. Divine favor. If it goes to a specific person, you guys hit me up again in chat. I'm looking at it now.
I think it's you can roll a d4, just assign us all numbers, and it goes to whatever
whoever.
you roll.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That works then too. So we'll just go around. So Dren, you're 1, Dristan, you're 2, you're all, you're 3, Ricky, you're 4. We'll see who it goes to. I'm still, yeah. To Dren. Dren gets a divine favor.
He's earned it.
He's earned it. That's true. He has.
What exactly is a divine favor?
That's a good question. I was hoping. Let's see if they have it on the page. I want to read it. Yeah. I'm just reading y'all's Zoom chat. Thanks, gang. It tickled me. Let's see. I believe he has it written down here somewhere in terms of donating. Because I want to make sure I'd say the right thing, because I could say the wrong thing. He doesn't. Usually divine favor, at least if I remember correctly, just gives you, I'm going to say for this case, it's going to give you an advantage unless you guys want to correct me and tell me it does something else, but basically it's an advantage.
There's a table, but I think if you don't have it, you can make it whatever you...
Yeah, so for this case, we'll just say for the time being, because I don't have that table, let me grab that from, for next week. I'll make sure that is gotten from, Shane. But... until then, we'll just say you have an advantage to use at your discretion. I do want you to call it ahead of time before you use it.
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
Thanks, chat.
Yeah. Thank you, chat. Cool. So you guys kind of hang out in Dren's place, packed to the nines with what he considers potentially boring and or useless knowledge. Ural, we cut to you out front. You are staying with the horses. You said you wanted some time to think.
Yeah, he's just trying to like fully calm down, rethink about what just happened. It's at this point where he's kind of like trying to figure out where his loyalty lies to like the greater cause, to Tarash's perspectives. Like, at what point will he be forced to kind of like make a decision on like who to kind of side with? So he's just kind of, it's nothing like super serious. He just needed time to kind of relax and kind of think more. And also he's thinking about like what happened with him and Ricky, and he's kind of like reevaluating the situation and realizing that like obviously his anger is still getting the better of him. His loyalty is kind of getting blurred at this point, and trying to just figure out what to do.
It's actually Carl that walks up to you.
I'm gonna kill him.
I'm gonna eat him.
Go look up him.
Mr. Ural?
Yeah, yes. Worm, what?
Well, I don't mean to interrupt your thoughts. I wanted to say, you know, I think it's really amazing, that you just rode out there all by yourself to go talk to them. It was really brave.
Thank you, Carl.
Oh.
It's more of a sense of duty than bravery.
Wow. I hope duty. Yeah. Everybody tells me I'm not brave at all.
Whoa. He's kind of like thinking, should I fuck with him or not?
There's no role for that. You have to make that choice on your own.
He's just thinking, he's like, all right, listen here, Carl. Despite the crap that we give you, you need to remind yourself, this journey, you have been with us. You have been a part of it. Not anyone can just leave their home and travel with 4 complete strangers, let alone 2 orcs, to do what you have been asked to do. You just need to stop dropping your sword.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes my hands get sweaty.
Well, stop.
And I can't hold anything. Yeah, okay.
But you're fine, Carl. I think Ricky will protect you. If not,
you like me?
Ricky will protect you.
Oh, I know, she's so brave and strong.
You should go tell her that.
I did. She sat in silence.
He kind of chuckles. I can tell you, Carl, Ricky absolutely loves it.
Oh.
When you compliment her and when you give her a hug. She might not show it right off the bat, but I can promise you she appreciates every single gesture.
Yeah. Okay.
You should hug her more.
Oh. Well, she did well, she let me sit by her. That's a start. Mr.
Yeah.
Ural.
Yeah. What, Worm?
I have a question. I was thinking a lot on the way over here about that scary orc that looked like Tarashmak, but wasn't really Tarashmak. Somebody changed his face, you know?
His face becomes from lighthearted to that dark scowl again. What about him?
I was just thinking, if they could do that to one person, could they do that to a lot of persons?
Probably, Carl. Probably.
What would happen if everybody didn't know who the real Tarashmak was?
Let me tell you, Carl. Not any orc could rally an entire army. I can guarantee you, just because they look like Tarashmak doesn't mean that they can act like Tarashmak.
I hope you're right, and I hope you always know the difference.
At that point, he kind of thinks back. Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you go inside, Carl?
Oh, okay. And he kind of pitters up to join everybody in Drin's apartment.
Under his breath, how is that kid not dead?
Because Ricky keeps saving him. And we're actually, just for the sake of tonight, because we're going to end here in 10 minutes anyways, we have another player that needs to get somewhere else. So tonight's a little bit of a shorter episode, but we'll say that things in there, the camera does pan out as the 4 of you hang out in Drin's place, and Ural gets his moment of solace that he needs, just as Ricky did, and just I think as Tristan did, healing people to think through what is going on. Next week we'll pick up right here and see if you guys can find this person in the city of Packrell. Let's go around to cast and crew. I want to say really quick thanks to Greyhawk for letting me run this campaign. I have been sitting on an orc campaign for a while. I don't know if I told you guys that. And this is something that was kind of a brainchild after Shane inspired me on a few things. So, Thank you. Let's show all the love to the Greyhawk channel. They have so many awesome people that get to come on here and play so many awesome games and tell stories. So there are lots of ways that you can support them. For those of you that have been tossing out bits and donations, thank you. That is definitely one way. You can also follow or subscribe. Right now is a good time for that as the cast is going to go around and introduce themselves. You can follow them on social media, and you can always support their sponsors. If you scroll down below, you can find the sponsors that make this channel possible. Those people are super important as well. So you can show support in many ways. Yeah, let's go around to cast and crew, and as I do so, they can drop links and stuff into chat if you want to go follow them. I encourage you to do so. Let's go backwards, starting with that salty ginger.
Oh goodness, hi. Yep, that's me. That salty ginger, not that sobbing ginger.
No.
She's fine. She's chill. I will tell you that the last thing that happens during this hangout session, just a brief little thing. She's super drunk. She's drunk the whole thing. And the last thing she does is turn to Carl. Carl, watch this. And she trust falls out of the window.
Oh!
And you'll see what happens next time.
What the fuck?
It's fine. That's Salty Ginger over on Twitter. I play games around the internet with my friends. I'm in an Eberron game on Monday over on Scraticus. That's at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then I am on Off the Table on Friday. I do lots and lots of things over there. My big thing is not tomorrow, but next Sunday is the final season premiere of Project Athena Pulp Cthulhu, which I've been like hyping for weeks, and it's finally we got our schedule straight. So we're going to be back next week, 7 p.m. Eastern on Grimjack 21502. My favorite thing. So if you're free next Sunday night, you should come check it out because it's the best. That's me.
Yes. Go follow her. She plays, surprisingly enough, about as many games as I do, which is impressive. Let the gingers take over. No, okay. Next up is Paul. In what? 1, 2, 3. How are you?
Hello. I don't know why, but today's episode really got me like immersed. I'm not entirely sure why.
Good.
I was like really into it, and I was kind of like, damn, today's a short session. But I had a lot of fun. I think it's gonna be fun to start developing Euro's character from this point on, because before he was all just, yeah, fight war, Tarash Mog, yeah. And now he's kind of just like, all right, what the fuck do I have forward to now? Since my leader, the one I've been looking up to, is being used against his own mission, and like I'm building a new bond with these guys, and kind of defeats everything that I was taught. But so I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to start developing more of a complex character for Euro, not just some pissed off nutbag. But yeah, super fun. I am in1123. You can find me here on twitch.tv/in1123. Twitter is also in1123. Everything is in1123. Variety caster who is slowly getting back into streaming, starting to get my setup all fun, playing a lot of just random games. Recently been really addicted to Call of Duty. It's very unhealthy. But yeah, I mean, tomorrow I'll be on another D&D show on Grits and Grin. It's called Tomb of Annihilation, where the goal is for the DM to basically kill us over in most terrible way. And I play a senile old tiefling druid who cannot seem to remember the day before.
We should get our memory-driven druids together. I have an old pirate named Mostly There Malone. They should go hang out and forget things together.
That sounds like phenomenal. I'm sure it'd be a great time that neither of us will remember. But yeah, then that's up for tomorrow. It's been super fun. It's a lot of combat, but I really enjoy it. But yeah, it's super fun. I enjoy this. I'm having a lot of fun.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna copy this. Thank you for sending that to me, Lauren. Awesome. And I'm glad you're finding that that immersive piece of it. I'm all about that role play, and
I was like really into it. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just like focusing.
Yeah. Hey, focus is good. We like the focus. Next up, Scott.
Hi, everybody. I am Lauren Scott Peterson, and I had a lot of fun tonight. Tonight was a great time. I got to do some healing and got to send Tristan off to go, go be a sad man who tries to atone for his problems, and bond with my daughter a little bit. Like there was a little bit of father-daughter bonding.
A little.
To keep that joke going. Yeah, I am Lauren Peterson. You can find me on Twitter at DM_LSP. I am the MC or Game Master for the Nerds on a Roll podcast. I will drop the link into Twitch chat right now. It deleted my link. Okay.
Let me see. I was about to say I might be able to drop it in there. It may just have a block on it. Let's see if I got it.
If we can't get it, Nerds on a Roll. Just Google us. We're fun. We play a game of Masks, which is like teenage superheroes. And speaking of, I will be on the Venture Maidens Twitch channel tonight, playing Masks with them.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to stream more. This is my first one, and I kind of really enjoy it. So you might see me around the Twitch in the future.
Oh, we have converted another one. That's how it happens, yeah. And last but certainly not least, Pangalactic.
Hello. That was awesome. That was a really good time. I'm gutted we have to end it early, but can't wait for next week. It's going to be fun. Who am I? I am Chris, aka Pangalactic, on the Twitters. I run a D&D resources website called Loot the Room. You can find that at loottheroom.uk. On Saturdays, I'm also on this channel earlier at 1 PM Eastern for Rise of the Temple of Elemental Evil, which is awesome. We're going to fight a dragon next week. We're all going to die. It's horrible. And I sometimes stream on Twitch. I need to do more of it. I haven't done much recently, but I'm going to try and do some tomorrow. So Loot the Room UK on Twitch. Come say hi.
There it is. And I am Little Red Dot, the DM for this campaign. I'm always a total pleasure to be here on Greyhawk, one of the many different networks that I play and DM for. So if you want to catch up with what I do, which is roll a lot of dice throughout the week, you can go check out my Twitter and my Twitches, which is all little_red_dot. And you can catch everything there, including my Discord link if you prefer to be part of a little bit more of a forum and less of a social media aspect. I do have a really active Discord, and I love all those people over in Discord. We chat about all kind of crazy stuff. But yeah, there are lots of places you can catch me. And actually, next up, I'll be... Speaking of trying to stream more, I'm going to try to start doing some Sunday morning kind of DM planning. I am going to start running some indie games on my channel, and one of the things that I am promising those indie creators is a chance for people to see how I'm taking new content and using it to build a campaign. So you can come over. I will be using Capers tomorrow morning. I just got my book. Oh, I wish I could show you guys. I don't have it here. It's over on my couch. Damn. The Capers book is in. It is so super beautiful. I've already made a ton of notes, so I will be planning for that brand new game Capers tomorrow morning. So yeah, lots of places you can catch me, lots of ways you can catch this lovely cast, and yeah, until next week, everybody, I guess we'll see you then. We look forward to seeing you. Have a good one.
Have a good one.